As I hear people talk about sex, I am constantly fascinated by the misconceptions, the strange perceptions, and just the weird amalgamation of shame, bad emotions, bad experiences, trauma, feeling frigid or frozen, and just this whole culture of sex not being an intimate, present, fun, loving, amazing space where beautiful things are created. It's as though and I've listened to an Audre Lorde video on repeat where she talks about erotic power. And what it makes me believe is that what's happened is sex is now pornographic with no feeling, just physical actions. And we've taken out the erotic source of the feeling and the passion and the chaos that is being human from our sexual encounters. And there's a lot that I believe goes into this that makes it a space where instead of it being the empowering, fun, blossoming space of personal development that it could be, it's become a scary, unsafe, trying to prove yourself, feeling very judged, and just kind of an unhealthy experience for differing people for differing reasons. I'm Lucia, and I am a data engineer. I am building a business, and I love talking with people. And I really enjoy talking about sex because I feel like it's just a space where, for me personally, I can be myself, I can get what I want, it's very easy. And I've had a journey in my sexual expression. And I feel like there's so many challenges in the ways we deal with sex today, but I feel like one of the big challenges is a mixture of entitlement, ownership, and expectation. Consent, agreement, just understanding that just because you're nice to me or kind to me does not entitle you to my body. And as women, it's as though we're taught that our bodies are not our own. So if my body does not belong to myself, who does it belong to? Is it any man who's willing to give me attention? Is it someone who's willing to give me that space and see me and hear me? Even if it's obvious that all they're wanting is sex, how far do I have to go in order to earn your love or your attention or your affection? And is sex what I want, or am I just doing it so that I can keep a relationship? I'm not sure what anyone else's motivations are when it comes to sex or relationships. And I wonder, how often are we going after a dream that may not be ours, or pleasing partners that aren't meant to be ours either? And I guess it's more a question of, when it comes to asking questions of sexual partners, I don't believe that the problem is knowing the questions or being able to express oneself. I feel like it's this idea that our bodies are not our own, so how can I defend something that's not necessarily mine in the first place? It's as though we're taught that we are sex dolls and secondary to the man's pleasure, yet a man's pleasure, statistically speaking, is easier to achieve, more straightforward, and there's kind of a basic rule of success for it. Now, I feel like when it comes to sexual encounters, there's this exchange of energy where what I bring to the table is what I get back. And at the same time, I feel like this free exchange of energy, this karma, this give and receive, this, flow of physics comes to mind, where things happen in equal and opposite reaction. It's as though we take relationships in the same way. And so what could be a beautiful friendship now becomes a tit for tat, where it's like, all right, I've taken you out on a date, it's cost $500. I feel like you owe me a blowjob and a meal, and some sex. We pay up. Where is my compensation for this niceness that I've been doing for you? And the sense of entitlement to a woman's body or her sacredness or just her time and energy, it's so fascinating to me, because it's where does anyone get off feeling like they have the right to someone else's body, their time, their energy, their attention, their feedback, anything. And I feel like this entitlement doesn't only happen in the bedroom, it happens a lot for me personally with people with businesses or things that they're selling or ideas or opinions. It's as though we feel like we're entitled to share what we experience with people freely and willy-nilly without asking their permission. Are they willing? Do they see things as I see things? What are you experiencing? Because maybe I'm picking up on something that you weren't tossing down, and now I'm creating drama in your life unnecessarily. But we live with such poor boundaries in a general sense, where it's not your place, person who does not know me, to tell me how to live my life, to tell me who I can or cannot sleep with, to comment on things that are not yours to comment on. And part of me is like, well, a conversation's a conversation, people are concerned, woo woo woo, whatever. And it's okay if I'm angry that someone violates my boundaries and does not honor my sacred spaces. It's as though I don't even want to get on Facebook or Facebook Messenger because so many people leave unsolicited messages, unsolicited friends requests, and then they're asking to help me, where it's like, so you're going to pitch your business? I don't want your business. I'm not here for you, and I don't necessarily feel like you're here for me. And it could just be that I'm a very independent person and I'm very not trusting of it. But when people are offering things and we don't have rapport, you don't know me, you don't know what I want, you don't know what I need. And maybe you do, and you have like a gift, and I'm more often a no than I am a yes. I'm just not in a space of really feeling like receiving a lot of new people and new energy in my life. And part of me does want to find like those deep connections where I feel like, all right, we can spend time together, we can hang out. And I'm very much in the space of like, no new friends. I'm not trying to connect with everyone or be super popular. And I mean, like, part of it's like, well, you have a YouTube channel. Aren't you trying to make friends? And it's like, nah. I mean, if people want to engage with me and have a conversation, I love to talk. I love to connect. I love meeting new people and learning about their lives. It makes life interesting. And sometimes I just like to share ideas and hope that people can find the power within themselves to own their lives. Because my journey through sexual encounters has gone from being someone who's a yes, because it's like, oh my gosh, fine, leave me alone, I'll do it, whatever. Get off my back, let's just get this over with, cool, fine. To being like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. And it's like, I've even had someone be like, well, I'm gonna do this for you. Great. And then they do it. Are you gonna do it for me? No, I never said I would. I never wanted to, and I still don't want to. So I'm gonna like go to sleep, but thank you. I appreciate what you do. It's interesting that people feel like karma is if you're the other woman, that like in a relationship, a guy's gonna cheat on you. It's like what you do is gonna come back to you in equal and opposite measure. And I feel like karma and even how relationships work, I don't think the energy exchange is quite as direct as we would think it is. If it were, one, people who do really intense things, like major things, would receive major consequences. And that doesn't always happen. And people who do minor things would receive like minor consequences, but that doesn't always happen. I feel like life is too complicated to pretend that it's like linear and balanced and that it's like very neat and particular. It's more like this web, a woven blanket of connections and people and moments. So maybe there is some like the guilt that might come up could be something that becomes a wall, but instead of it becoming a block in relationships, it might become a block in a different area of life. So it's like what we do has consequences in how we see ourselves, how we interact with others, the way that we're willing to show up. And it may not come from the source that we think it comes from. So it's like, I feel like reflexology and massage comes to mind because someone let me know, she was a massage therapist and took classes in it. And she said that if you're a woman and you get a massage, people are supposed to stay away from like your ankles, like your ankle area, because if you're pregnant, it can give you a miscarriage, it can impact your reproductive organs in differing ways. And that when she would take classes with people, if they would fall asleep, there's like a spot on your foot where it will like mess with your liver, and they would do that to like make people uncomfortable and wake up. It's something that, as you think about it, it's like my foot affects my liver or my genitals. What are you talking about? But it's a system that is more complicated than we give it credit for. Things aren't always as straightforward as they seem, and I don't believe that's how relationships work. So yeah, it could be that if I accept this person's free offer and counseling and support, maybe this person will want mine and we can start this chain and blah, blah, blah. But then maybe it's just like, it was just a waste of time and something to do, and it didn't give value, and it was cool. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like when it comes to personal development, sometimes what we need is just space to hear ourselves and to listen to what's on our mind and to figure out what a yes is and to know what a no is and to honor that and to be okay with it. No matter who wants what we have to offer, being willing to say, no, thank you, and to walk away free from guilt, shame, or frustration because I don't owe you any part of myself. I am not here for my partner. I am here for myself. And the differing partners that I've had experiences with, they don't owe me anything and I don't owe them anything. Now, if I choose to contribute to them and be of service to them, that's an option. And if they're willing to receive it, that's an option. Like, no one's guaranteed anything. And I feel like this sense of entitlement over other people's bodies, over people's time, their energy, their resources, it's very disrespectful and it's very rude because we're individual and we all have different needs. So hopefully we can find a way to move forward healthy, peaceful, happy, owning ourselves and honoring other people's right to own themselves. Have a great day and see you next time.